What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at an out-of-box review for this, which is the HGUC 1/144 scale Jagd Doga Gyunei Guss custom. And if you haven't seen, actually we've already been doing a couple of tutorial videos involving this kit, so I don't want to make this review too long because we're going to be seeing quite a lot of this kit over the course of the rest of that tutorial series. So basically just want to cover a few key things about this kit. First thing is that I absolutely loved putting this kit together. I can tell you that although this kit is a little bit old, made in 2007, that the actual engineering and the just overall design of the kit is super nice. Everything fits together really well. I think they did a really good job engineering this kit. So let's take a closer look at it. One thing that immediately I don't like about it is the colors, so we're definitely going to be repainting this in some different colors. But let's take a look at the articulation. Now the head doesn't have any forward and back chicken neck kind of motion, and it's only going to go up only that little bit, except for the fact that we have this whole mechanism inside there that allows for the neck to come up all the way that much. So that's super nice. It's very good for some flying poses like that. The head also has no problems turning all the way around as you'd expect. The arms are going to go up only about that far because of these shoulder binders, but if we just rotate those, these shoulder binders are just on a ball joint, so they're going to move around and rotate. So if we move those a little bit up out of the way, the arm can come up a little bit higher, and if you totally took this off, you could move the arm up all the way, a little bit more even. And then so we've got rotation there, and then just a single joint, but it's quite good. It's alright. I don't know, because of the design. I mean, the thruster there in the front is a little bit in the way, but a little bit more than 90 degrees there in the elbow. It's not bad. The hands are just normal on ball joints. No motion in the stomach at all, as it's just pegged straight onto there. The skirt armor does come separated, so you don't need to worry about separating that yourself. These side skirts are just on pegs, although we're not going to get a whole lot of movement there. Back skirts are just fixed like usual. The legs then are going to go out about that far, pretty good. About that far, and forward about like that, and back only about that far. So forward, not too bad. The knee is going to get, like the elbow, just right about 90 degrees, maybe a little bit more than 90 degrees, but I think plenty for anything you're going to need. As you can see, it comes up well enough there. In the ankles, once again, pretty standard. A little bit side to side, forward about that much, back about that much, pretty average. So as you can see, the overall articulation is really nothing to write home about, but it's far from being bad in any way. Everything is super solid. The articulation, it does everything you need it to do, and that's basically what's most important. One other point I did forget is that on the backpack, it's a pretty simple backpack, not a lot of articulation, except for these lower thrusters are on ball joints, or I'm sorry, they're just pegged in there, but there is some movement there with those. If we take off the mask, which is pretty easy to do, the mono eye is inside there, and it might be kind of hard to see, but you can actually just turn that. Just by using your finger, you can just kind of turn it off to the side, then put your mask back on, and then you could have it looking out the side. But I don't have the sticker on there, and I don't have it painted yet, so it's really just kind of hard to see. And speaking of stickers, once again, here they are. I was asked in one of the questions in the Q&A if I could start putting the stickers on the kits for out-of-box reviews, and I will do that. The only reason I'm not doing it for this is because I want to cover this in the tutorial, so we're not going to put those on just yet. Just a reminder though, you do have the one sticker for the mono eye, these two eye stickers for the sides of the kind of mask piece there, and this one is going to go on the shield. Speaking of the shield, here it is here, so you'll just stick that over that. But if you don't want to, you really don't have to. As you can see, the Neo Zeon logo is already engraved in there, so that would be pretty easy to paint, or at least just panel line that to make that come out. The shield is pretty simple. It's just 3 pieces sandwiched together, and this back piece has a peg on that. It's just going to peg into the back of the arm. So just have to move this stuff around a little bit. There's that. This binder does kind of get in the way of that. That's actually a complaint that I had with the Space Jahannam, was that the shoulder got in the way of the shield, and it's a little bit similar in this case. Though I think in this case at least it's a little bit easier to work around it because you're able to move that binder quite a bit. The next accessory that we have is this machine gun. It's very cool, and as you can see the hands on the kit are both holding hands. The third hand that we have is just this trigger finger for this gun, and that's all that we have is just the 3 hands. There is a little bit of articulation on the rifle as this back part can move up and down, but I'm not sure if that's really going to serve you any purpose. Pretty simple to just pop off the holding hand, pop in the rifle, and you're all set. The other weapon that this kit has is its beam saber, and its beam saber is actually unique because, as you can see, the handle actually has 2 handles, sort of, and that's simply because it has this knife blade, and the knife blade plugs into one slot and then the beam plugs into the other slot. Now, as I mentioned, we've got 2 different lengths of beam saber effect parts. I'll just go with the short one. Pretty easy to just plug that in, and then there you've got your beam saber. The one problem is that knife part doesn't stay in at all. You'll definitely have to glue that in. I don't know why it doesn't fit at all, but there's just no way it's gonna fit in there, sadly. But you are gonna have no problems holding this. You're just gonna have to take off the hand and open it up, put the handle in place, put the hand back together, and put the hand back on the mobile suit, and there we go. And it's going to hold it very well. No problems at all. You can hold it upside down. It's not going to fall out, so that's all good. Now, when you're not using the beam saber handle, you can actually store it on the kit. I kind of doubt anyone's going to actually do this, but if you want to, you can, and I'll show you how. On the side skirts, they're actually a little bit different. This one has something on the top. Let's see if I can pull this off to show you. Now the energy cable is kind of in the way. Anyway, this side skirt has the top filled in with some detail, and this one you can see is just kind of empty in the top. That's to make it easier to pull off. And then you're just going to stick your beam saber handle inside like that, and then put this part back on, and that's it. So I don't know, if you're gonna actually be like painting and finishing this kit up, I don't think you're gonna actually want to store that in there. You'd probably just store it off to the side in the box or something if you're not going to be actually using it. And just in terms of the mobile suit's design itself as well, I don't remember the movie at all. Of course, this mobile suit is from Char's Counterattack. I don't remember the movie well enough to know that how the mobile suit takes that out when it's in action. I don't know if like this folds up, opens up or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I'll have to rewatch Char's Counterattack before finishing up this kit. But I don't think in the middle of battle he's just going to be taking off this part of armor in order to take out that handle, so it must be some sort of other mechanism in the works there. Now, of course, the other weapon for the Jagd Doga is going to be these funnels here on the shoulder binders. As they are now, they're just 3 funnels attached together like this, but they are pretty nicely detailed. They're hollow in the back, but actually it kind of makes sense because these, I know, the back half of the funnels is supposed to open up like a helicopter. Something like this. So this is the open mode. And since there's 6, 3 on each side, we do actually get 6 of these. Let me just show you those. Here you go. 6 of the open ones. And what you're able to do is take the funnel and take these long clear rods. We get 2 of these, 1 for each side, and you'll need to measure it. You'll need to cut it up into thirds. The rod is about 20 centimeters long, so if you divide that by 3, that means each section should be somewhere around 6.5 centimeters. So I already measured that on here. I'll just go ahead and cut one of those off. So now I've got one of the parts, and we're going to stick that one end into the end of the funnel, and then the other end into the hole in here. And there we go. Now the funnel is flying off. Now obviously flying straight off like that doesn't really look all that interesting, so why don't we bend this? And what you want to do is just be careful to bend it in a curved way. It actually would help if you put the plastic in some boiling water to make it soft a little bit, not for too long, but just for a little bit to make the plastic a little bit soft. Then you can just kind of bend it a little bit. And if you have something that is of the correct shape that you can kind of put this plastic into to help it hold that round shape, then that would be better. I don't know, bending it by hand doesn't really work all that well, but here's just a little bit anyway, just so you can get the idea. Anyway, you can do that with all three of the funnels, and essentially you're going to get something like that here, like it shows in the manual. To give you a bit of a size comparison, we'll compare it with the RX-78-2 Gundam. As you can see, the Gundam is just barely coming up to the chest of the Jagd Doga, so it's a pretty big high grade, just because it's a pretty big mobile suit, as were most of the suits from Char's counterattack. And lastly, if you wanted to put the kit onto an action base, under here there's just kind of normal thing for high grades where there's just a small panel covering the hole. You just pull off that part. Now you've got a hole there. You can just stick that onto the action base connector. And there we go. So yeah, that's going to be about it, you guys. This kit is pretty simple, but it's super solid, really well designed, a lot of really nice detail. It's not covered with details, but it's got details in really nice places. Just some nice little bits, just like this part here on the side, there on the side of the legs, just a few little bits, and plenty of space if you wanted to go in and add some more details, more panel lines, stuff like that. There's plenty of space to work with. Ultimately, I think this kit is a really, really awesome kit. I definitely plan on buying another one, and I don't know if the other one's going to be the other version, the Kess version, which is the kind of red and gray. Equally ugly colors in my opinion, but really the only difference in the kit is it's got a different gun and the head is a little bit different as well. But this definitely won't be the last time that I build this kit. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it to you guys. I'm sure you can probably find it. I don't remember the retail price off my head. 2,200 yen. I'm not sure how much it goes for on Hobby Link Japan, but I'm sure it must be less than 2,000 yen. Totally worth it. Definitely pick one up, you guys. I can't imagine there would be too many of you who actually like this color, so I'm sure there are. I'm sure there's people who like the color, but I think repainting this is probably definitely going to be necessary for most people. But like I said, this is just a really nice looking kit. It's going to look good no matter what you do with it. Thanks for watching, you guys, and now it's time to continue on with the Gunpla Building tutorial series.